All right. What's up, folks? All right. We had a little bit of technical difficulty because we are actually streaming live at a different location. We're streaming live in Detroit at the Venture X location, the Venture X shared space location. We're live here in Detroit, doing some things out here in Detroit, making some deals happen out in Detroit. So we wanted to come and hang out here. We're looking at hosting an event here in the next coming months. So definitely check out the Venture X workspace in the city of Detroit. And shout out to my man Devin, who actually hooked us up here so we can get things rocking and rolling. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing kicked off. Hang tight, and we will be right back with you. All right, folks, welcome back to the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show. This is Glen Glasper, affectionately known as MrDollarOutofaDime. And today we're going to be talking about the how to be the bank in real estate investing and how to become a real life real estate investor and avoid being responsible for the property and avoid the headaches of being a landlord. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So you all are watching. We should be streaming in a few different places today. That's kind of where we had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we got it all worked out. So we're in a few different places today. So if you're seeing us for the first time, go ahead and drop a comment in the chat. If you're seeing us, if you've seen us before, if you're seeing me before doing the show, definitely let us know where you're watching from. Definitely let us know if the information is helpful to you. So we're going to get into a couple different things today. Well, the main thing we're going to be talking about is how to be the bank. And this is a conversation that I've had with a few other people. And one of the things that we talked about was how people can get involved in real estate investing and how we can help them get involved with cash and credit. I think that's a topic that many times is overlooked. People talk about many times how you can get involved in real estate with no money and no credit. But a lot of times you're not told the whole story of what involves getting involved in real estate with no money and no credit. Many times you're not told the whole story. But I'm here today. I want to tell you most of the story. And then I want to share with you some ideas of the benefits of having cash and having credit, right? So I don't want the audience of you that are watching or will potentially see this to miss out on what it is to have money and have credit to get involved in real estate investing. So we get right into it. So what is it to get involved in real estate with no money and no credit? What does that look like? All right, what that looks like, first of all, is when you don't have money, you don't have credit, you contract to buy a property, then you contract to sell that property. Simple situation, right? It's a simple situation that it would appear to be simple. However, there is a lot of moving parts in getting to the point of being able to sell that property, right? You got to locate the property. You got to have a conversation or have some type of direct mail to the seller where you can actually have a conversation with the seller, right? Once you have that conversation, if they agree to sell, then you go on to get that property contracted, sold. You got to analyze it. I mean, there's quite a few different things that go in it. You want to make sure the property fits the numbers that you need to get in order to make a profit, and you need to make sure the numbers fit for the seller or the buyer that you'll be selling to so that they can get a profit. So all of these pieces have to come together. Basically, it's a puzzle that you're putting together to make sure the deal can go smoothly, right? You got to make sure title's clear. So there's several different situations or scenarios whereby when you're getting involved with no money, no credit, the things that you have to know to make those deals happen. That's most of it. You got to know how to read a HUD statement. You got to know what it takes to get to the closing table, what documents it takes to get to the closing table, what the closing attorney or the agent is going to need for you to be able to get to the point of getting that deal closed, right? And that's with anything in this business. That's with anything in this business. You got to know what it takes to get to the point of making money, right? We've been sold, many of you have been sold on the idea of making money with no money. And I will again say it is possible, but you got to know what you're doing, right? You got to know what you're doing in anything that you're getting to as it relates to getting in business. And I think it's been oversimplified. I think real estate investing has been oversimplified. But I'm going to do what I can to keep it all the way 100 with you. It ain't easy. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the person that doesn't have the stick-to-itiveness or the wherewithal, or what a friend of mine would say, the testicular fortitude to be able to handle what comes with this type of business, right? Because like I said, there's many moving parts. You can bump your head, you can lose your shirt. There's a lot of things that could potentially go wrong. And that's the thing that is not always told in the business of real estate investing. And I always specify the business of real estate investing because it's a business first. And I don't want to be one of the ones that oversimplifies it. Can anybody do it? I'm a little bit on the fence with that. Yes and no. Anybody that's willing to put in the work and willing to stick to what happens and stay with it can do it. But the issue is not everybody will. Anybody can try, just like with anything. Anybody can try, but not everybody's going to stick to what it takes to continue to maintain the business. That's most of the story, right? And that's the story that gets hidden behind the scenes that a lot of people miss when it comes to understanding what it takes to not only get in this business, but stay in this business, right? And I've been in this business now going on 23, well, going on 24 years. And I don't profess to say that it's always been great. Have I done great? Absolutely. Have I caught hell? Absolutely. And I want to be the one to tell you the real deal of real life real estate investing. And the real deal is there's going to be issues, no matter how you look at it. Don't get caught up into the television shows where they say you flip this house in 30 minutes. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works, right? You have to know much of what needs to go on in getting a deal done. So the idea of it, the something for nothing mentality, I can get in with no money, no credit, and I can have all these other issues in my life, and it'll work for me, and I can make a lot of money. Potentially, if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to educate yourself, if you're willing to understand, get to the point of understanding how it all comes together, then it can work for you, right? So let's talk about what it takes to become the bank, right? Let's talk about that. Now, real estate investing can be a situation where you can create notes, right? Creating a note basically is just what being the bank is. And what that in its simplified form is having a property, buying, or the way you buy it and the way you sell it, right? And we'll go over a few of those scenarios. If you buy a property, so for people that are familiar with fixing and flipping, or people that are familiar with the BRRRR method, it's kind of those scenarios combined to a degree. So most of the mistake that I made in the business initially, early on in my business, was buying, fixing, and flipping and selling everything. That was one of the biggest mistakes that I made. And I began to make that same mistake getting back into the business after the crash, buying, fixing, and flipping, selling everything. It made me a ton of money, but once there's no consistent cash flow, no consistency that comes with it as it relates to income, the money is going to continue to go out the door no matter what. But you got to have a way for money to continue to come in from a passive perspective, right? One of my partners said something that was really intriguing the other day. He talked about the difference between an active investor and a passive investor. The active investor is a person who's involved in the day-to-day transactional things that goes on with getting the deal closed. A passive investor, from a more broader perspective, is a person who puts the money in and the money continues to come back without having to continue to do a lot of the work. So I want to talk to you about being the bank and not having to continuously get out, look for properties, fix up properties, try to put them on the market and get them sold and do all that and be cash rich but asset poor. I want to talk to you about positioning yourself to be asset rich, right? Where you're asset rich. So in scenarios like that, no matter what the market is, you can make it through the situations of, recessions and depressions and all that because you're controlling an asset, right? How does that happen? How does becoming the bank happen? You buy a property, you fix it up, you refinance it, and then as opposed to selling it right out and flipping it out, you sell it on seller financing. You become the bank. You actually set the terms of what it would take for someone to qualify to buy that house, right? What's the difference in that and having someone to get a bank loan? Because you're doing the underwriting. The underwriting is done by you. So if the person doesn't have great credit, if they may not have had 2 years of work experience, which is typically what's required by the traditional mortgage lender, you can set the terms where you will allow this person who's self-employed potentially, right? They have potentially some tax returns, or they may not have gotten their tax returns and things like that. So you can qualify them based on your own terms. And those terms you set. So, but they come with a specific down payment. You set what that down payment is, 5, 10, 20% of whatever you're selling for. And you can also set the amount that you want to sell for. So for example, typically you buy a house, fix it up, and sell it for what the ARV is, the current after repair value, right? In a scenario where a property's value, current after repair value will be $100,000, right? You set the terms. The person wants to qualify based on what you're going to have them qualify for. You set the terms of now being able to sell it to them at a higher price. Set it at 125,000 as opposed to 100, or 150,000 as opposed to 100, right? And what that does, you set the time that they then are able to cash you out. You can give them 3 years, you can give them 5 years, you can give them 2 years. Whatever terms you set, if they're willing to agree to those terms, you set those terms, and that they qualify for how you decide to finance for them. Right? You give them enough time that they can then refinance or cash you out, however they are able to do that. Once they cash you out, then you're done. If they don't cash you out, that's another situation where, it's great and it's not great. If they don't cash you out, you then can have them remove themselves from the property because they didn't qualify, or they didn't meet the terms or finish the terms of the agreement that you initially set. And then have someone else can come in and you can start the process all over again, whereby you get another down payment, you set your monthly payment, and you set your cash out payment, or the amount that you would have them cash you out at. So for example, in that time where you started the initial process, the property is now valued at 150,000. Then you set the new terms for 175,000. Once you have someone else come in behind the people that didn't cash you out their first time. So it's a situation whereby you can continue to do it over and over again, right? And the fortunate and unfortunate scenario is probably 80 to 85% of people don't always cash out, right? In that process, you can help them get qualified. So for example, what we do for our clients is we help them get qualified. We help them with their credit. We help them create ways that they can generate consistent income. Even if it's them having a job. If they have a job, great. If they don't, it's not so great, but we want them to be able to get to the point of having consistent income that they can show on their if it's a 1099 or whatever it is, if they're self-employed, they can show on their tax returns, right? So then they can go to a bank and get qualified to cash us out, right? So because we want to position them to, but they of course have to follow the steps to get it done. And unfortunately, not everybody will follow the steps, right? But we are helping them get positioned. So when it's time for them to cash us out, we collect a higher amount over time than if we had just cashed out right away, right? There's tax advantages. There's several advantages to doing these types of transactions. There's several, tax advantages. Another major advantage is not having to manage the property while the person's living there, right? You don't get the calls for the toilets and the septic tanks, and you don't get those calls because they're in an ownership position. So it's their responsibility to take care of all the maintenance in that scenario, in these types of scenarios. If they need the bath, if they want to change the toilets, it's their responsibility. If they want to paint, if they want to upgrade the kitchen, if they want to do any of those things are things that they can be responsible for. That if they don't perform on that situation where you've given them the terms, if they don't perform at the time, all of those things remain a part of the property, right? And that's understood in the agreement that's made with them when they are put in the scenario where they are able to become a homeowner without necessarily qualifying, right? So it's several different benefits to doing deals this way. The first one is when you buy, fix, and refinance. When you refinance, you pull your initial cash out, and that cash is tax free, right? And you can go on and continue to do projects like this over and over again. So that's another major benefit of being the bank. And the other thing is if you create a note that's higher than the amount of the current value, even if it's not, if there's equity, whatever the case may be, if you create a note, that person performs over time on that note, that's a note that you could potentially sell to a note buyer, where you would still get an increased amount from a buyer of that note. You give them, so for example, in a scenario that you're selling your $100,000 property for $150,000 over a 2 to 3 year period, you're still even if its current value is 100,000 and you have a $50,000 term over 2 to 3 years, a note buyer would buy it at a discount of maybe 120,000 or 130,000, where you're still going to make money because the note buyer would buy that note from you, right? Drop it in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions about that. I know that's quite a bit to understand. And I'm just checking can we check to see where we are on YouTube? Check the audience on YouTube, because I know we're streaming there. I'm not able to see if anyone has any questions over there.
Okay.
So again, we're streaming in a few different places, so forgive me. We want to make sure we're catching up with anyone that would potentially have questions. Let's see. Okay. So so we're live there as well. And you know what we also didn't set up? We didn't set up our IG.
I was gonna say something. I was gonna let you.
I don't know if we have the other stand, but we definitely should do that as well. You know what? I'm gonna try it here. So y'all bear with me, hang with me. Again, like I said, we're streaming in a few different places, and I want to definitely be sure that we are offering this information to as many people as we can. So here, I'm gonna do this. All right, let's see. I think we can do it here. So I'm going to do the main account. All right, so shout out to my man TJ Hines. Thank you, sir. I see you. Thank you very much. And we are live on IG as well. So we're live in a few different Facebook groups. We're live on YouTube, and let's see. Okay, so I am able to see the comments over here. Okay, good. All right. Bernice, thank you for joining us. Ms. Bernice Bishop, I believe that's what your name is. If you have any questions, let us know. I'm just gonna run through it again because I know I was in a few different places with the different audiences. So y'all bear with me again. We're streaming live in a few different places, and I want to make sure everybody's on the same page with what we're discussing. Uh, we're live on the main page, but not on the real life page. Maybe you know what? Let me see. I'm gonna get it together over here. Make sure we're getting this information to as many people as we can. And we're talking about what we're talking about today is being the bank, is how to be the bank in real estate investing and not have the headaches of being a landlord. Uh, because several times people will ask, how can okay, I don't know how I did that, but we'll come back to that. How can I get into real estate? Uh, and I spoke at a conference over this past weekend. Quite a few people had already had rental properties. People had already had rental properties, and they wanted to know how this type of scenario of being the bank would work for them because they don't want to deal with the management headaches. And if you're not wanting to deal with the management headaches, you can actually either convert your current tenants into owners and have them be responsible for the property and still take cash out if you choose to, or have them put down an additional payment. It's just set up, you can set up new terms with them as current tenants, where you can convert them from tenants to owners, and where they're responsible for the maintenance of the property. And they're responsible for the management, and they're responsible for all the things that typically a person would have to deal with as it relates to being a landlord. So that's what we're talking about today. Right now, I think it's time for a commercial that we got. I want to shoot this for you, extend this over to you real quick, and we're going to take a break over here. We'll be right back with you on live.
Hey, what's happening, folks? Many experts will tell you that you can get into the business of real estate investing with no money and no credit. And the question I ask is, if you bought into that, how's that working out for you? Right? My name is Glen Glasper, and I've been in this business for 23 years. And what I find is most of the people that get into this business with that type of mentality, only 0.001% of them have any level of success, or let alone close a deal. Most of the people that become successful understand the importance of leveraging credit and leveraging money, as well as leveraging time, and not just doing one deal. If that's you, I created a video on how you can become successful in real estate investing. Now, this is not for the people who don't want to invest any money or don't want to invest any credit. This is not for the easy crowd. This is for the people who are open to investing and open to leveraging their resources. If that's you, go ahead and click on the link below, and I'll certainly see you on the other side. Go ahead and click on the link below, and I'll see you on the other side. Go ahead and click on the link. Did you hear me? I said click on the link. See you on the other side.
All right. So we're back. We're back live. For those of you that are watching, anywhere you're watching, like, share, subscribe, and I want to be able to share this information again with as many people as possible. So like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel of Real Life Real Estate Investing. And what we're talking about again today is being the bank, how to be the bank in real estate investing. And we're going to show, and again, there's several different advantages to being the bank in real estate investing where you're not responsible for maintaining the property. So a question will be asked. Let's see who we got here. A question will be asked. Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. John. The question will be asked, how can I become the bank in real estate investing? And I just want to go back over this really quickly for those of you that are just tuning in, or for those of you that may have missed it before. You can become the bank by either buying a property straight out, if you buy a property, or you own a property. Instead of renting it, you can sell it on seller financing. And all that means is you qualify the person that buys the property from you. You set the terms, you set the qualifications, you do the underwriting, you basically determine what person can be the person that can buy the deal from you, right? And that means you would check to see how much money they have to put down. You would put them in a position over a certain amount of time to be able to buy from you, right? So you give them 2 years for them to get their credit in order, their finances in order, whatever they need to get in order over that period of time, so that they then can refinance and pay you off, right? And another scenario, as I explained before, is one whereby you can buy a property, fix it up, refinance it, and then sell it on seller financing. So we got to coin a new phrase. There's the BRRRR method, which is buy, renovate, refinance, and rent. In this scenario, it would buy, renovate, refinance, and sell. So we'll call it BRRRRs, I guess, but sell on seller financing. So can we call that BRRRRs off, BRRRRs of? We can probably call it BRRRRs of. We'll figure it out. Somebody help us figure out a term to call it. But it's buy, renovate, refinance, and then sell on seller financing. And the benefit to that, as opposed to just renting it, as many people will say, to just go ahead and rent it out, get a tenant, is getting someone that has a good down payment. We're talking 5, 10, 15, or 20% of the amount that you set. So again, in the scenario that we talked about, where it's a $100,000 property, you would set the 20% down payment, where that person would pay 20%. Or, an example that we gave, it was 150,000. So you would set 20% of 150,000, which would be 30,000. They'd have to put $30,000 down, and they would finance it over a 2, 3, 4, 5-year period, whatever you set. And in that time period, you could then you would just basically be selling to them. Who we got here? I don't know who that's attempting to call us, but of course we're not taking any calls right now. I don't know why somebody would try to call, but anyway, you could sell on seller financing, and you set those terms. So if that in that time period, they would have the ability to refinance and pay you off, right? As opposed to a scenario where if it only appraises for a certain amount, not like the times where we were having people paying 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 over the asking, that time period has slowed down a little bit, right? Some areas that's still happening, but in the scenario that I'm talking about, you can still have the additional amount that you earn on the property. It would just be over time. And that would be for more of a long-term strategy. However, the benefit to waiting that time is you still get a monthly cash flow, because you can set the terms of the monthly payment, right? You amortize it over 30 years where the payment comes down, you set the interest rate, and then what you do is you set a specific payment that they would have to pay you on a monthly basis. And that payment typically will cover whatever financial obligation that you have, or monthly financial obligation that you have, cover that, as well as give you cash flow and still put you in a position of control, right? The idea in real estate is to own nothing but control everything, right? So you're still in a position of control, whereby that person would still be subject to you because they're paying you as the bank, right? So that's the scenario where you can actually get people to buy on seller financing, and you become the bank and still get the tax advantages. Now, the other thing is you're no longer responsible for the actual taxes that have to be paid, because the buyer, whom becomes your new owner, they're responsible for the taxes. They're responsible for the insurance, right? They would, of course, have you as a mortgagee in the insurance where you're still protected, but they're responsible for paying principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, which is commonly known as PITI. So it still puts you in a position of control, because if they default at any time, you could go and you could then foreclose, take the property back, turn around and do the scenario all over again, right? And it's not the same, but it will be sort of the process if you had to evict someone. You could do the foreclosure, right? So, people become landlords, and of course, they never want to get to the point of having to evict anyone, of course, just like never wanted to get to the point of having to foreclose. but it gives a bit of flexibility on both parts as a landlord, or as being the bank as opposed to being a landlord. And I just want to make sure I'm checking in with my folks over here to see if we got any questions about any of this. Um, and this is one commonly overlooked way of becoming a real estate investor. Oftentimes people look at the traditional way of becoming an investor where they buy a property, fix it up, refinance, and be a landlord for 30 years, right? Which is not a terrible scenario to be in, right? But you can still be in control and not have to have the maintenance headaches. And that's one of the major benefits of doing it this way. And it gets people out of the idea. Like many people have this idea. You hear my camera, you hear my shot. Many people have this idea that.
They said they can't hear you on IG.
Oh really? Uh-oh. They can't hear me. It's probably sitting on the speaker. Can they hear me now? I want to make sure they can hear me over there. Okay. All right. So we're gonna find out why you all can't hear me on IG. Is it that? I don't know what that is. Oh no, I can't. I'm on mute there. I probably was on mute.
I think I muted it over here.
Okay. Let's see who we have over. Anybody? If anybody's still on IG with us, let's make sure we can hear you, or make sure you can hear us, because I want to make sure if anybody's got any questions that we address them. Again, I definitely want to remind you that we are here live in Detroit. We're live in Detroit. Typically, I will be shooting out of Atlanta, but we're live in Detroit, and we're at the Venture X workspace. And it looks like we're still a little bit crooked over there. I don't know why that the sign doesn't look like it's aligned for some reason.
That better?
That's a little better, yeah. We're at the Venture X workspace in Detroit. Been spending a lot of time in Detroit, doing a lot of business here in Detroit. So we're going to be hosting a real estate class here in Detroit in March or April. We're actually locking down the specific date and then we'll keep you guys informed on that. But I really want to help you understand the benefits of being the bank as opposed to just being a regular landlord. And if anybody is interested or open to learning more, of course, reach out to us. One of the things I want to get back to, as some of you will probably see scrolling below, is the 100K guarantee. And it says 10 spots open, but we only have about 4 right about now. So we're actually working to help people get started in real estate, where if you don't have additional money or additional credit, we'll work with you to get started in real estate. Now, of course, it is not free to work with us. I want to make sure I'm clear on that. It's not free to work with us, because what we're helping you do, we're positioning you to be able to create a significant stream of income. And what we're guaranteeing is $100,000. I will guarantee you $100,000. Well, put it this way: if you will work with you for 12 months, and if you don't make at least $100,000 within that 12-month period of working with us, we'll give you back your initial investment. All right. We said it again. We're guaranteeing you that you will generate at least $100,000 of income within the first 12 months of working with us, a minimum of $100,000. Now, of course, we can run the bag up pretty high if you do the work. That's the catch. Somebody would say, "What's the catch?" The catch is you. You got to do the work, right? So we're not going to. Let me see. Are we good here?
She said she still can't hear you.
Somebody's saying something here. Volume not on. Is the volume not on? What is? Oh, is it this? Will that be? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Because I know they're still saying they can't hear me over there. Okay, so the ringer was off. I don't know if that would stop the volume.
Nah. I think I did that when I checked it to see if it was
okay.
the issue.
I don't know how to do that, and you're in this shot over here too. uh, would it be because it's sitting? Would it be because it's sitting on the microphone on the bottom? Do we have the other mic, the lapel mic?
Yes.
Okay, let's put that on there and see if we can get some volume out of there. All right, all right. Let's see. We are. All right, we're still. I want to make sure people can hear me. Uh, Everybody can hear me okay that are in the groups. Everybody can hear me okay that's on the page. Send me a message. Let me know if you can hear me okay. And if there's any questions about anything we're discussing right now. Again, like we're trying to make sure people can hear me on all platforms and make sure everything is going well. Okay. All right. Let's see. So we're going to. All right. So get the sound right for IG. All right. You should be able to set that. Let me know if you all can hear me on IG now. And if everybody can hear me on Facebook, also do me a favor, let me know if you can hear me over here as well. Those of you that are tuned in, can you tell me if you can hear me? Is it there? Can you hear it there?
You can say that's a shame. Oh. No, I'm not getting any volume.
You're not getting any volume in? Still not no volume on IG? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna close out and go back in.
Okay. All right. Bear with us. We're getting all of our streaming together, and we want to make sure that everybody can hear us okay. And I think we're actually having some problems on IG. And okay, let's see, make sure everybody's good. Okay, how are we doing now? Do we have any volume over here?
I'm just waiting for it to pop up on my phone.
Okay. All right, because listen, yo, I know I'm dropping some gems over here. I want to make sure nobody's missing out on any of this information. And again, if you got any questions, please feel free to go ahead and put them in the chat. And for the folks that are chimed in on YouTube, let me know if you got any questions. We're it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so we got that taken care of. I want to do something really special for those of you that are watching. I want to give you a free copy of. Okay, wait, I'm getting a look. Can I give them a free copy of the book? Of the real life real estate investing book?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to put the link over here where we can give you all a free copy of the wholesaling book, the wholesaling ebook.
You can get it back in my forehead and throw them all in the video.
For those of you that are tuned in, we're going to give you a free copy of the 10 steps to kickstarting your real life or your real estate investing career. We're going to give you a free copy of that. And we are just waiting on the link to come over to make sure you all can download that. It typically sells for about $14 or $15 on our website, which that price will be going up significantly. We're just, offering at a lower price, over the holiday time, and it'll be going back up. Um, all right, good, good, good. Okay, I just want to make sure we got everybody on different platforms that can hear us. Okay, let's check the YouTube channel just to be sure people are able to hear me over there as well. Uh, Let me know if you have any questions. We're talking about being the bank. Again, I want to give another shout out to the workspace, the Venture X workspace here in Detroit, Michigan, and we're for allowing us to hang out at their spot today to stream our podcast live here. So definitely check them out. If you are in the Detroit, Michigan area, definitely check out the Venture X workspace um, area, workspace building. And we're on what street? What street are we on? Venture X, Google Venture X Workspace. And it'll give you the address. All right, again, I want to help people, as many people as I can, to learn this business of investing in real estate.
It's Congress Street, by the way.
Venture X is on Congress Street. And what I find is they've been sold the idea of getting into the business for something or nothing for something, right? They have this something for nothing type of mindset because many people, and I, may have said this in the past, I don't believe I have, but if I have, I want to help you understand that yes, you can do business, you can get into real estate with no money and no credit, right? You can do real estate. Let me say that you can do real estate. That's the thing. I think I found what was missing. You can do real estate with no money and no credit, but you can't get into real estate with no money and no credit. There's a difference because it's going to be some type of investment, whether you're driving for dollars, whether you're paying for leads, whether you're doing direct mail, whether you're doing any type of paid ads or paid marketing. Most of what you're going to do is there's going to be some type of investment, right? It's just a matter of where you are and where you're looking to go, right? If you are in a place where you want to get started in real estate and you're okay with waiting 6, 9 months, 2 years. It took me 2 years to get my first deal after starting to learn. If you're okay with waiting 2 years to get a deal done, or well, I'll say more from a standpoint of the possibility of you actually putting in the work, you can do it in less time because there are several different resources. You can do it in less time, but you have to get the resources organized. Some people say, well, why would I pay for information if I can get it on YouTube? Absolutely, you can get it on YouTube. You can get it on Google. You can get all the information that's necessary to be successful, but it's not always organized. And if you're not the type of person that is a self-starter, that is self-motivated, if you're not a self-starting individual, you might run into some issues with getting deal closed, right? Because there's going to be a situation that you'll probably run into that's different from anything you've ever seen before, right? And that might be where you would need somebody to help you walk through that scenario, right? And I always tell the story of how I got started. How I got started. Thank you very much, Malia. How I got started with no help, but it took me 2 years. I bought a course. Of course, I bought the no money down course. I bought the course. It took me 2 years to get to the point of having the confidence, or I should say, getting the competence to have the confidence to be able to start working on buying a real estate property, right? Because by myself, I didn't have the confidence. And by myself, I didn't have the confidence. And once I got to the point of eventually getting the confidence, then I had the confidence to speak to an attorney, speak to a realtor, speak to the different people, the different parts that it took for me to actually get my first deal closed. And at that point is when I eventually was able to continuously systematically get things done. Now, well, let me change that. In the beginning, I was able to continuously get things done, but not systematically. I didn't figure that out until a lot of time later, right? And I skipped over a lot of the really good steps that I should have taken, including having someone to help me and show me the way. And it cost me several opportunities into the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So That's why I say it's important to have someone help you to get through the process, because you can get to your desired result a lot faster, right? And that person, whomever that is, whether it's me or anybody else that you choose to have as a mentor or coach, can show you the specific step by step process of getting to closing one deal, two deals, 10 deals, 20 deals, right? And being able to maintain and sustain a real life real estate investing business. Right. So what we're actually talking about, for those of you that have joined, again, I want to make sure I do a quick recap before I jump off. We're talking about investing in real estate by being the bank. And again, in the simplest way is buying properties that you can sell or seller finance it. The other twist to that is that you can also buy properties on seller financing. You have some cash that you can put down to buy a property on seller financing, put down the cash, buy the property on seller financing, and do what's called a wraparound and sell that property on seller financing. So there's several different scenarios that you can actually get involved in real estate, but each and every one of them does require some type of investment, whether it's cash or credit or time or all of the above. Every single one of them does require that. So the no money down, no credit scenario is the one that's going to require you to have the most amount of time. But if you have cash and credit, you can buy some of that time, right? So I want to be clear on that. And I will answer any questions that you all have that are related to real estate investing. Shout out to Malia. Thank you very much. You want to get it from me? I'm open. We can actually schedule a call, and I'll make sure you get the information that you need to be able to get, to get started or to continue. I mean, I don't know where you are. You may already be doing well in real estate, right? But even though I've been doing this for 20 plus years, I still have people to coach me and guide me through the way, right? So that's where I am with that. And who we have over here? Chill and Mariana. How y'all doing? Thank you for joining us on IG. And for those of you that are here on YouTube, shout out to Logan Cooper. Thank you for joining me. And Mr. John Wick, Burgess Bishop, thank you all for joining. Any questions? Any questions I can answer for anyone? Let's see what you got. Okay, okay, not a problem, not a problem. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. I say I teach people real estate for selfish reasons. Selfishly and unselfishly to a degree. I want you to know how to do the business to make it continuously to be easier for all of us, right? The more people that don't know how to do real estate that get into real estate makes it harder for all of us. And I think that's a lot of times where many of us that are educators in the real estate space, we have to be mindful of that. If we don't reach out to as many people as we possibly can and help them understand how this business works, that's where a lot of the regulations and different things that have already come into play and that will continue to come into play cause us issues, right? There are a couple of, I think, one or two states now that says that we have to have a license to do wholesaling. Make that make sense. Since you have to have a license to buy a property, of course, your intention is to buy a property and then sell it to someone else for a slightly higher price. Make that make sense, right? But if you're doing the business right and we're all as a collective doing it the way it should be done, now, of course, there's several different creative ways to do it. But having somebody else's property, marking it up $100,000 and trying to sell it to someone else, and you don't even have it under contract is not the creative way that we want to do this business, right? That's not what I mean, right? Some people have found a way to circumvent the system so that they can make up their own way of doing things, and that's not what we want to have happen, right? It's simple to build a relationship with people and work together on getting deals done where it makes sense for everyone to get paid, or as my partner John would say, for everyone to eat, right? So it's simple scenarios where everyone can work together and get paid. And understand, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about just getting a big check on one deal. right? It's about creating longevity. Real estate is a business that, for as long as I've known, it's not going anywhere, right? So certain things you might try and get to run the bag up as quickly as you possibly can, but if you got a long-term play, real estate is a long-term play, right? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow with Forex or any of the other things that people are getting into. And I'm not saying those are bad things. Those are great ways to generate income, but you have to be mindful of what is it going to be, right? You got a person that can say something about investing in stocks or different things, and one person's word can cause you to lose multiple thousands of dollars at one time. For example, we had a situation where what was it? What was the stock that went crazy? GameStop.
Oh, man.
Somebody was like, "Nah, don't do that no more." Right, just like that, it was gone. Um, but real estate, no matter what you say about it, although it's going to be cyclical and things is going to go up and down, it's going to still be, places that people would always be the place to stay. So, and it looks like we're coming up on our time. I want to make sure I shout out to IG again for anybody that has any questions that I can answer as it relates to anything that we're discussing today. And for those of you that are just joining, I want to give you an opportunity to hear a couple of the testimonials that I've had with people that I've actually worked with. Here's one from Mr. Kerr in Detroit.
How you doing, folks? This is Glen Glasper, and I'm here with my buddy, Mr. Alan Kerr. Mr. Alan Kerr, we met, I want to say, was it April this year?
Something right in that area.
Yeah. April this year. I called him up to ask him about his property. He refused to budge on the price. So
that and dinner, there's no talking.
Right. But we actually negotiated a great deal for both of us. So we negotiated a great deal where it works out for both of us. And so now we're here. We're actually here in the property now. We're about maybe 2 or 3 more steps before getting everything complete.
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
Yeah, yeah. So tell the folks about your experience and us working together.
I've met this gentleman a short while ago, and he's probably one of the best people that I've come in contact with in terms of how he carries himself, how he talks, how he treats you. He's just one hell of a nice guy. Thank you. I've had a very good experience with him up till now, and I hope it doesn't change. We got a little ways to go, and I'm working on it, and he's working on it. So I have a timeline, and I hope I can cut some time off of it, but I don't promise nothing until I got that check in my hand.
Absolutely.
But as far as my experience with him, it's been good, very good. He's actually a very comfortable person to deal with.
My man, Mr. Alan Kerr. Mr. Alan Kerr is a gentleman that we're buying some property, actually some land and some houses, a couple houses on the land here in Taylor, Michigan. And again, for those of you that are, chiming in, joining us, like, share, and subscribe. Definitely got to tell you that. Also, if you're in the Detroit area, actually, I'm gonna put myself out there in the Detroit area. We're here actually until tomorrow. If anybody that let's connect, and we can connect tomorrow, today. Okay, we can connect today. I gotta make sure I get it right. Anybody in the Detroit area, let's get together. I mean, let's talk, talk deals, talk how we can work together, make some things happen. Because we're doing quite a few things here in Detroit. Let's see. I want to share something else really quickly before we get out of here. Another one of my partners who actually worked on a deal before, and we got a recent one closed. So,
how you doing, folks? This is Glen Glasper with Real Life Real Estate Investing, and I'm here with my partner, Latanya Saunderson. Can I say of the Weave Shop?
Sure.
Okay. And we actually just closed on our first of many deals together.
Well, no. let me correct you. It's not our first.
You're absolutely right.
It's actually our second.
Right.
It's our second deal. It just was a little time
in between.
Yes. But we're back. But I'm excited to be working with Glen again. I've been knowing him for years, and he's been doing real estate investing, for the last
23 years.
23 years? Oh, wow. Wow, 23 years. So it's been an awesome experience. I'm so excited. He's very knowledgeable and thorough. I wouldn't want to have worked with anybody else other than him, just because I've been knowing him as well, and he's just shown in every way that he knows what he's doing. He's very, very, very hands-on and detailed, and that just really means a lot to me. You know, I could invest my money in different ways, but I definitely chose to trust in Glen and real estate investing. And so I'm just excited for 2022 and what's to come. Of course, this is the second one of many to come.
Definitely.
All right, there you have it. And that's just a couple of the folks that we work with. You know, we're working with Mr. Kerr to close out his properties, and we're working with Ms. Saunderson to help her buy more properties. And we're actually still doing deals here in Detroit. So if anybody wants to partner with us, anybody wants to learn the business that are here in Detroit or in Atlanta or anywhere in the country, we're actually working with people all over the country. Certainly tap in, let us know how we can help you. And that's all I have. And I don't see that anyone has added any questions. If you have any questions, certainly reach out to us. You can visit the website at realliferealestateinvesting.com. That's realliferealestateinvesting.com or RLREI.com. And that is our show. This has been the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show, where we talk about real life real estate situations, but we bring you real life real estate solutions. Look forward to seeing you all real soon.